What's going on, guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'll be breaking down the 5 most important things that make it easy to train on a busy schedule. So whether you're working a 9 to 5, studying, it don't matter. These keys are going to unlock the door to making it easy for you. So without further ado, let's get to the video. Regardless of what day it is, I start my day the exact same every day. Keep it consistent, it just allows me to get into a good rhythm. So first we're going to start off with the weigh-in.
170.8, not bad.
Next up, I'm going to take my supplements and vitamins. I leave these in the same spot every day just so that, I don't even have to think about it. In the morning, I come over here, take my supplements, I hit my weigh-in, do the same thing. You stop having to think about it as much. Your instincts kind of just make you do it. And this brings me into the first point that makes training on a busy schedule super easy, and that is routine. Having a routine built of simple tasks that work for you and making it easy as possible to train during the week is probably one of the most beneficial things that you can do. What does this look like? Well, it's making my breakfast the night before, packing my bag, getting my gym stuff ready, everything that I could be doing in the morning. Instead of doing it when I'm at my weakest point, I'm tired, I'm drowsy, I might not even want to train in the morning, I'm going to do it the night before so that in the morning I just have to wake up, brush my teeth, shower, grab my stuff and go. And that's it. I don't have to think about what I need to pack, the food I need to make, grab my gym clothes, none of that. Just wake up, grab my stuff and go. I read this great quote in the book Atomic Habits. We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And that's built up of all the tiny little habits that we do that can either work for you or against you. So apparently it's still snowing in April these days, so we're not gonna run outside. I'm not David Goggins, so I'm just gonna go run on the treadmill, do my long run that way. It sucks, I was getting sick of the treadmill, I was really looking forward to going outside, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? On the schedule today is my long run. And as I'm gearing up here, man, I am not motivated to do it at all. I guess that's the good thing about planning my long runs on the weekend is I have lots of time, so I can sit here for a little bit and hype myself up. But that's the beauty of planning your week out is you just show up and do it. You don't have to think about, oh, should I do short, long, or this workout here, this workout there. Scheduled my long run today. I just show up. Still gotta hype myself up and show up, but that's almost a little bit easier when you don't have to think about other things. If that's the only thing you gotta do, then you can just focus on getting in the car and coming here. But anyway, we're gonna do the long run. The second key point in making training as easy as possible for yourself in a busy schedule is planning your week out. By planning your week out, you are prepared for the week ahead, and during the week, you don't have to think about what's next. You just look at your schedule, okay, I'm gonna do this. It also allows you to better schedule around your lifts and your runs. For example, if I'm doing my long runs on Saturday, then I'm probably not gonna be doing leg day on Friday or Sunday. I'm gonna push it to like Wednesday just to give myself a better chance of completing those long runs. So it keeps you prepared. It also gives you a reference in the past of your totals for the week. So if you are ramping up your, say, kilometers, like when you're training for a marathon or stuff like that, then you have a reference of your weekly totals and you can start ramping it up as you get closer to your race. I'd even recommend writing down the times at which you're gonna go work out. Just anything you can do to make the process as simple as possible and as easy to follow, the better. We're halfway through our run right now, and I gotta say, running on the treadmill, it's kind of like one of those dreams where you're stuck in one place and
You know, you're aware what's going on, but you can't move. No matter how hard you try and move, you're stuck in the same spot. It's kind of like running on a treadmill. It's also super hot. You know, the wise Derek Lewis once said when Joe Rogan asked him, why did he take his pants off? Because my balls was hot. And that's how I would describe the situation right now. But work must be put in.
After the run, it's time to refuel, and I'm doing it with my typical breakfast. So usually I have 4 eggs and oatmeal or avocado toast. This has kind of been my staple as I'm on my calorie deficit. This brings me into my third key point that makes training on a busy schedule as easy as possible, and that is proper fueling. Properly fueling yourself for your training sessions and throughout the week is going to make the process a lot more enjoyable because you're not going to crash, you're not going to feel as tired, and you're going to get the goals that you want to achieve better, whether it is losing weight or putting on muscle or just surviving your long runs. Properly fueling yourself throughout the week can be tricky, but there are ways to make it easier. And that's the whole point, right? To make this process as easy and as enjoyable as possible. So that's why on Sundays, I do a lot of meal prep. I prep a lot of my meals so that I can ensure that I'm getting the proper fuel throughout the day and I don't have to do as much work, right? I'm doing a lot of cooking on Sunday, but throughout the week, I don't do as much cooking when I'm more tired because of work and everything else that I have in my life. Putting a little bit more thought and prep into your fuel and meals is going to better allow you to spread out your macros throughout the day. More specifically, I'm talking about protein, because protein is very crucial in maintaining muscle and developing your muscle. The more you can spread it out throughout the day, the better, because they say the first 10 grams that you consume goes to energy. Anything after that up to about 50 grams, that is what's going to be used in your muscle. If you spread out your consumption throughout the day, you're more likely to absorb that protein into your muscle. Something also to consider is the more snacks and fuel prep that you have with you throughout the day, the better, because we've all had that feeling. You get off work, you want to go work out, but you're so hungry. You're thinking, should I go home and eat first? Should I go to the gym? What should I do? If you go home, the chances are you're way more likely to not get up and go to the gym. This has happened to me multiple times. So what you're better off doing is bringing a pre-gym snack with you. That way when you get off, you can eat it on your way to the gym or before you leave work, wherever you want to eat it. The point is, you won't be tempted to come home and get stuck there. You're more likely to go to the gym. And that's the most important part, right? Getting your exercise throughout the week so that we feel better. Man, those weights felt heavy. Getting into my last 2 weeks of the cut, and I'm really starting to notice my energy and strength decreasing, which is natural. You know, on a calorie deficit, your energy levels are naturally going to go down, and as you lose fat, some muscle is going to go along with it, so strength will go down a little bit too. But it's all part of the process, right? And that brings me on to my fourth point on how to train on a busy schedule, and that is prioritize. Prioritizing what you're working towards is crucial. Last summer, when I was training for my marathon, that was my priority. So my strength and lifting the weights kind of went on the back burner. I was still doing it, just more in maintenance and honestly just pure love of getting a pump. But as soon as my marathon was done, then I went on a bulk and I wanted to prioritize my strength. I wanted to build up my strength over the winter. And then once that was done, it was time to get rid of the fat that I gained in the bulk. So right now I'm prioritizing that, which means while I'm losing the fat, I'm gonna lose a little bit of muscle, as I talked about earlier. Point is, as you go through your phases of exercising, health, and training, you're going to naturally have to prioritize one area and grow that area, and then switch over to the next, grow that area. And it's kind of like
you're slowly building all of these blocks until you're super well-rounded. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible to grow in multiple areas, because if you run a couple times a week and if you strength train, naturally you're going to get a little bit better in each area and grow. But let's say if your focus is to train for a marathon, then you're gonna have to devote a lot of your attention to that compared to strength training. Or if you want to put on a lot of muscle, then you have to prioritize that. If you're just looking to grow all around, then by all means, yes, it's very possible. And there's also those super freak athletes who are just way more talented than I am, and they're able to grow crazy in endurance and strength, and it just blows my mind. This is one of my favorite exercises when the gym's not that busy. So you set up the bench lined up with the cable machine, and you space it out so that when you take a step back on the bench, the weights are engaged the whole time. And then I kind of wrap my body around it, and I'll just drive it up like this. And it just targets your upper back really nicely. You get a deep stretch at the bottom, and it just feels really good. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I absolutely love Chipotle, and it's a nice reward after a long day of training. And that brings me into my final key point on how to train on a busy schedule, and that is to be goal oriented. You gotta have a goal. You know, you gotta have that why. Why do you train every day? If it's to be healthier, it's to grow stronger, to run farther, whatever it is, you have to think about that why, because on the days where you had a long day at work, or you're super tired after a couple of days of training, you know, it's gonna be hard to show up. And if you can think about that why, that reason why you wanna do it all, it makes it a little bit easier to show up every day. To summarize, if you can have a good routine, plan your week ahead of the schedule, prep your fuel, prioritize your training, and maintain that goal in mind, that why, that reason why you do it all, then I believe you're gonna have great success. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys found it helpful and can use some of the things that I talked about in your life and find some success. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. I'll make sure I go through and answer all of those. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you dropped a like. It really supports the channel, keeps me going. Until next time, train hard. Peace.